Today, I want to mine every single diamond in my 100 by 100 Minecraft world, but when I say I want every diamond, I mean every single last diamond. This world is confined to a 100 by 100 border, meaning there's limited resources like diamonds. So to get them all, I'll be mining every block from the bottom of the world to 16 blocks above. Now why do we need all these diamonds? We already have villagers that will sell us every piece of diamond gear, even a freaking hoe. Here's the thing, there's another recipe with diamonds in it, and that's fireworks. It can be used to give it the coolest trail effect. So yeah, today we are going to be mining every single diamond in my 100 by 100 Minecraft world so we can throw the coolest fireworks show the 100 by 100 world, heck, even the entire world has ever seen. It'll have thousands, and I mean thousands of unique fireworks, and yes, it is a waste of diamonds, but I don't remember asking. This whole mining project kind of started out scattered. Down here we've already done some mining, just like random strip mines and random holes, so it was pretty messy. It was going slow, but with the haste 2 beacon we have to let us insta-mine blocks, it couldn't go that slow. Also, you might notice some of the glowstone placed down. That was a project started a month ago by Tyson, and I told him he was crazy if he was going to build it. And now I'm going to be the one building it. All this project really is once this whole place is mined out, we're going to place down a layer of glowstone and a layer of glass on top to prevent anything from spawning, and it also just gives us tons more building space. From now on, I might refer to it as the WAP project, you know, waste of time. And so far, we have 19 diamonds and 13 diamond ore. Now, that's not that much, but it's probably because, 1, my friends have a lot of the diamonds, and 2, we're not even close to mining everything out. But there's some more diamonds for us to get, except they're outside the border. But if I'm not mistaken, if we blow them up with TNT, we should get them. Yes, okay, let's go. Just light another, and that's 7 more diamonds. Back to the project, one thing we need to complete this is a melon and pumpkin farm, I swear. So before I even started mining, I worked on this for a few hours. I know brick is very mediocre block and difficult to obtain, but since I had tons of stonemasons and a desire to be quirky, I decided to build it out of brick. The whole idea is that when a melon grows, it gets pushed by a piston and then it drops into this collection chute. It was a pretty easy build. So easy, in fact, I built it way taller than I thought I would, ending with I think like 14 levels. The next day, I bred 6 farmer villagers who would give me emeralds for my pumpkins and melon. Even better, if you turn them into zombies and cure them, they'll give you 1 emerald for 1 pumpkin or either 1 melon. While I was mining out this entire area, the melon and pumpkin farm would be churning in the background, and those emeralds went right into buying glowstone and glass for the WAP project. You know, waste of time. And then my friend Collin joined to help us mine, and that's when we really started making progress because we had a plan. I would mine out all the blocks at the top while Collin would start mining at the middle, and space really started to clear out. Oh yeah, and since we're doing a lot of mining, we might as well put my only piece of netherite on my pickaxe. But in this video, I promised I'd put it on a hoe for the series dedication achievement. Oh, good grief, why did I do that? So we are back to regular old mining. I don't know what you want me to say, we just mined. You'll see that we never really picked up and stored the blocks we mined, which technically breaks rule 2, keep resource management in mind. Normally I'm strict on these rules, like rule 3, no war, no lore, but right now I just don't care. It takes a lot of time to store these items, we already have a lot of them, and we're never gonna go, darn, we don't have any diorite. And it's craftable, so it's not even limited. Instead, we just kept the ores because they're kind of valuable. One thing to note is the insane amount of mobs. Like previously, I said I had a lot, but that meant like 3 zombies and a skeleton. This is worse. But still, it was more a nuisance than anything. They just got in the way of mining. You'd have 20 zombies on you and barely take any damage due to the beacon effects. Until the creepers came around. That's where disaster struck. In a dark cave, you'd have little time to mine as you were just trying to kill all the mobs, but by the time you did, more spawned. Right here, I was trying to get some mining done. I ran into a creeper, but a creeper quickly turned into 4 creeper, and I actually died. But it's nothing serious. I just used my gamer skill to run past the mobs and grab my stuff. Problem, I didn't pick up my armor, so I got killed again. Something picked it up. I went to look for it, and I saw it. A baby zombie with full diamond armor and sword hurtling after me. I tried to fight it, but I stood no chance, getting 2-tapped by the literal child. Once again, I was back at my stuff, and I was terrified. Collin had found the zombie, I outmaneuvered it, we cleared out some final mobs, and I finally got my armor back. We were this close to losing it all. So these mobs need to be managed, but I was always one step ahead of these poorly coded AI. Yeah, we could just place down torches, but we were always breaking the block they were on, so they just kept breaking, so we just decided not to bother, but instead mine out the entire bottom layer of the world. It was still pretty tricky doing this with all the mobs, but once that was done, we could mine out gaps between us and the mobs so they can't get to us, then mining the chunk of the stone we were on. And then it was smooth sailing. Okay, 10 hours later, this whole thing is mined out. Okay, except for that little part there, but I don't really care. And also, I got a lot done for the glowstone and glass flooring. I think it looks pretty good, and that's all that matters. One problem is that the clerics keep giving me outrageously high prices. It should be fine. I just then worked on the glass layer waiting for their prices to go back down. Normally if you buy a lot of their stock, they'll raise the price, but over time it goes down. But when I checked back, the prices for glowstone were still outrageously high. I think I know what's up. These villagers are going on strike. After a quick Wikipedia read, a strike is when there's a mass refusal of employees to work, which usually takes place in response to employee grievances. So I got right to work. I wasn't going to let these robotic NPCs unionize and take me down. And I knew they wouldn't beat me because I had a plan to take down this strike. I started breeding tons of villagers that I will soon hire as strike breakers. I even expanded the melon people room so they'll have more children. Once they grow up, they'll be turned into clerics who I will trade with instead of the striking villagers. Hopefully, if we don't give these villagers business, they'll have to lower their prices back down so I'll trade with them again. But these villagers weren't giving up easily. The baby villagers I had bred to end the strike escaped out the window. I'm a fool. Obviously, I had to board up the window, the door, and even the walls. No one is leaving until this price war is finished. I am going to make their lives miserable, which actually proved to be quite difficult because their lives already suck so much. Then it was just a waiting game to see if they would lower their prices. To pass the time, I would work on the WAP project because the librarians that sold glass were actually being quite cooperative, and I got a lot done on that. And then finally the babies grew up, so I turned them into clerics. Now all I had to do was to turn them into zombies and cure them so their prices would go down and would be 1 emerald for 1 glowstone, just like the striking villagers. But before I cured them, I noticed the clerics' prices for glowstone dropped back down. It was like everything was back to normal. But I knew I couldn't have won the war that easily. These villagers were up to something. So I joined a 100x100 fan server, found a cleric on it, paid him off with a little green plant, and he told me the striking clerics were scamming me. The only reasons the prices were back to normal was so I wouldn't employ the strike breakers and they would soon raise the prices back up again. And lo and behold, 2 days later, those slimy villagers raised those prices back up. So to retaliate, I hired and cured those nearly 10 strike breakers to break a freaking strike. While waiting for the striking clerics to admit defeat, the WAP project started to come to a close. With the help of the strikebreakers, I was able to buy stacks of glowstone a day. Once that layer was done, it was time for the glass layer on top. And this just in, the villager prices have lowered, and they're officially lowered. I traded with them for a few days, and the glowstone prices didn't go up. That means they ended the strike, and with that, the price war was over. But it wasn't ending for them that easily. They were going to have to stand trial for their actions, and they were breaking rule number 2. Welcome. Thank you for coming in. Here in this church/fire department/court, you will stand trial for going on strike. You might notice there are only 4 clerics here when there were 5 striking. Well, when moving the villagers, 1 escaped into the curing chamber, getting mixed into the rest of them. We didn't know who to arrest, so we thought we'd just let him go. But this 4 will still stand trial. I also made sure to name these villagers as well, so we'd get emotionally attached to them. That would end up giving them a fair shot at justice. The prosecution was first. I clearly showed how raising their prices was going against Rule 2, keep resource management in mind, because by making me spend more emeralds, I was wasting more resources. Now for the defendants. One claim I knew they were going to make was that I was breaking rule number 3, no war, no lore. But I fixed that by renaming price war to price tussle. They had no other evidence for defense. The jury got together to discuss. The villagers were found guilty of their crimes. And now, their sentence. These villagers, I actually really like them and they did end the strike, so I think their punishment should be pretty light. Like, the only reason we took them to trial was that no one else could be like, oh hey, they did this so I can do it as well. So I'm thinking we'll just give them a week in community jail, except we don't have a jail. So the only other viable punishment was death. In the morning, the villagers were taken up to the top of the giraffe. Here, they were thrown off the edge for their crimes. They will be missed. These villagers were good people, just a little misguided. They put in hours of work to see the WAP project complete, but didn't live to see it finished. So there was only one rightful way to send them off. By throwing the best fireworks show the 100x100, heck, even the world has ever seen in memorial of them. Using stacks of paper and gunpowder, and using all of our 3 stacks of diamonds. They had the funeral they deserved. Rest in peace, villagers. You will not be forgotten. And then we immediately replaced them.